10-7, a wild one at Lambeau. The Eagles walk away with the win and currently hold the number one seed in the NFC with this win. They go to 7-2. Packers, they go to 5-3-1. This was everything that I didn't expect. I don't know if you listened to the preview episode. I think I said like 31-26 Eagles win, something along those lines. Maybe I could have factored in the cold a little bit more. First game below freezing, like the earliest game below freezing in the Lambeau Field in like 25 years, whatever Joe Buck said in the beginning of the night. Something crazy. I don't know. This game was wild. It just had that kind of old-fashioned football game, kind of maybe even a playoff vibe in Lambeau. It was kind of similar to our playoff game against the Packers in the wild card round last year, but there was even then a lot more scoring in that one. That game was only 22-10. This one was 10-7. So crazy. I'm going to go through all my notes. I'm going to get to everything, including A.J. Brown, all the drama coming out today, the Jair Alexander, the fourth down play. I'm going to get to everything, but I'm going to go all through my notes from the game. So I'll start in the first quarter. Green Bay, they did the tush push first before we did on a 4th and short, and they got it. And Lambeau Field erupted, and I was like, "Oh my God, we need to beat these people now!" In the offseason, I made a podcast talking about the tush push and how everybody wanted to ban and stuff. I think Matt LaFleur is a great coach. I know he's receiving some heat right now for the offensive play calling from Green Bay fans, but he's had a track history of being a good coach. And I just think that the way he went about the tush push was just the most wussy thing. I don't know. It was just weird. I was not a fan of it. The way he was coming out about it, I don't know. So they do the tush push, and they jumped. They jumped on a false start, and there was no call. It was a pretty clear false start. And in that second quarter, we did one that was also clear false start, didn't get called. And then we did one again then the Green Bay Packers did one that was a false start that wasn't as clear as either of the first two. And that's when, all over social media last couple of days, you're seeing the refs called this a false start on the Packers, but not this on the Eagles, and they didn't show the one that was blatantly offsides or a false start on the Packers in the first quarter. It's just like the narrative, like it's literally fake news. I'm not even trying to make a joke, not a political joke at all for either side. It's just fake news. If you look at it, they completely took away the first tush push attempt from the Packers that was clearly offsides. I wasn't complaining about it. I wasn't complaining about it the next time either. The refs have to call it better. They do. And then they want to, NFL fans and whatever, they want to show the second one for the Packers because they didn't watch the game and that's all they could see from other people. That's embarrassing. You just are completely misinformed because that was not the case at all between the tush push. And I have my own theories about the tush push as well. I honestly think so. There's news coming out that the NFL board or something had Matt LaFleur speak out against this to try and get it banned. Whatever, got 2 votes short, something like that along those lines. I have a feeling that the refs are told to purposefully, the first few calls of the game, not call a flag. I truly believe that. I feel like they're being told not to call the flag just so when the season's over, the NFL can come out and say it's clearly a tough play to call. That's why we need to get rid of it. It's hard to tell. I truly think that might be a reason why they're not calling it early on in the games, and then maybe they start to call it later on. But regardless, it's not that big of a deal. It's a stupid little thing in a large game that kind of got me angry the other day on Twitter. Oh, well. So the Packers, they tried to tush push on 4th and short. That was the false start that I was talking about. It was awesome because their fans went crazy the first time they did it. I just wrote this note. We kept slipping early on, probably due to the cold conditions. And later on in that second quarter, Lane Johnson got hurt, carted to the locker room. I was concerned, but he was fine. He came back in the third quarter, so all good there. Here's a sequence of plays that can't happen. We had a great punt. The Packers run like their 8-yard line, and Keely Ringo gets a pointless holding call on him, and we have to repunt. The Packers, they get to the 32. That's a sequence that will not be able to happen come January and February. Little things like that. The Packers, they were threatening to score, and then Jordan Love had the really bad fumble. Jalen Phillips recovered it, which was awesome. We go into half scoreless, 0-0. The third quarter, I wrote down early that the RPOs with Dallas Goedert were working because they were working early, and then it got too predictable, and I'll get to that in a second. We had a 3rd and 12 on the Packers 25. And we ran it, settling for 3, which shows the trust we have in our defense. But I'm more of a fan of at least attempting a pass, seeing if anything gets open there. We had a 3rd and 7, and we got a delay of game. That's another sequence of plays that cannot happen because it took a touchdown away from us, maybe. So that's one of those plays. Packers had a 4th and 9 on our 45. They couldn't convert, which was huge. Our defense did a great job when we got inside our 50. Also, I think Christian Watson just dropped that ball, or it was Dontavian Wicks or somebody. On our next possession, we had a screen play and got 1 yard, and then we handed it off and lost 6, and then we threw another screen to go 3 and out. That's another sequence plays that cannot happen. It's just stuff like that it's just the coordinator, man. It really just is, and you can't tell me otherwise because this team is so good. They were so good in 2022. They were even so good with Brian Johnson offensively, with getting A.J. Brown the ball and stuff like that for a certain span of time in 2023. It's not them, man. It's the coordinator. It's stupid. It is stupid, stupid, stupid football. And I'm sorry, but you can't stand and watch plays like that drives like that. It's just a killer. So that 4th quarter on one of our next drives, though, this was big. 3rd and 7, we had a screen play to Saquon Barkley because, of course, we did, but it worked. So I can't hate at them. 35 yards, which is huge. It got us inside Packer territory. And the very next play, Jalen Hurts takes the deep shot to Devontae Smith. He head tops the DB. Crazy 2-play sequence. The Eagles go up 10-0. That was huge. Packers responded very fast. Next drive. This is another thing that kind of can't happen. I mean, it's not necessarily bad. They just didn't work in this case. Jahad Campbell was one-on-one in coverage, and he got a PI call, put the Packers on our own 5. Up 2 scores. I don't see the point of this, really. But he's been good in coverage, so maybe that's the way you counter it. But I didn't work there. So Packers, they score for Josh Jacobs' touchdown. And then here we go again with this play sequences. We get the ball. We hand it off. We lose 2 yards. We do the RPO, incomplete because the Packers knew it was coming because we're too predictable. And go to 3rd down, but then Devontae and Jalen save us. So that's fine. 16-yard catch. It was a huge catch. Parsons had the trip play on Saquon. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was blatant. That should have been called. Then defensively, Adoree Jackson, he made a big play in coverage I put down, which is nice. Good to see him doing something because Jair Alexander, he's stepping away from the team to get right mentally and rehab his injury or something. I don't really know. It's a shame, especially after just trading for him, but hopefully he'll be back at some point. But the Dolphins. The Packers, they had the 4th and 1 at the end of the game, and the Eagles made a great play. It was predictable. They were running the inside zone, and Moro Ojomo called it out, saying inside zone this way, inside the zone this way. And they penetrated through the offensive line, and they got him in the backfield for the sack. And it was, or not the sack, Jalen Phillips got him for a loss, and we got the ball, and that was pretty much it. The Packers, I completely forgot about the 4th down play. So let me get to that. First of all, Jalen Phillips did a great job in his debut with the Eagles. Huge time pickup. Huge. It was awesome. We have 4th and 6 on the Packers' 36-yard line. We decided to go for it. Apparently, there's news coming out today that it was not Nick Sirianni and that it was on Jalen and A.J. And if they're really trying to get A.J. the ball, if Jalen wants to be one of those guys I guess I'm not completely mad at it. It was just really dumb. It was just the last thing you needed to do if we're the Eagles. We gave them a chance because we did not convert because it was literally a blur ball to A.J. Brown. So they got the ball they got the ball to our 46. Things could have gotten really bad for the Eagles. I mean, truly. Jordan Love missed a throw. They could have had a chance at a PI, whatever it might be. I just don't really understand the thinking from the Eagles here, or from Jalen and A.J. Honestly, I'd rather attempt a field goal to make it a 6-point game. The Packers have to score a touchdown within like 20, 30 seconds as opposed to going for the 4th and 6. Even if we miss the field goal, I'd rather have attempted maybe missing the field goal and they get the ball there as opposed to just going for it and not completing it. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. It doesn't make any sense. If it truly was on Jalen and A.J., I guess I like the idea of them trying to get him the ball, but let's do it earlier on so we don't have to worry about that. So it would have been the longest kick in Green Bay history, Lambeau history. it wasn't even close. Who cares? Game over. Thank God, because it was. I was really nervous. So yeah, fourth straight win against the Packers. Joe Buck said this. This was one of my other notes I had. He said we lead the league in 3-and-outs this year. That's not a good thing. That is absolutely not a good thing. We need to fix that. It just comes back to play calling. And before we get into the A.J. Brown stuff, I want to say I do like Jordan Love's gameplay. I think he's a good quarterback. I think the Eagles kind of had their way with him. I think it was kind of an embarrassing game for him. I think he missed a lot of throws, missed a lot of reads too. Romeo Doubs opened a lot for them, and I just think he missed a lot. And when he's pressured on 11 dropbacks in this game, he was 0 for 6 on completions and had 3 sacks. I don't know. I think Jordan Love's a good quarterback. This is not his finest moment. The Packers have been inconsistent this whole year, and a lot of times it's been because of the offense. So I just want to talk about that. That's my theories on Jordan Love. But we'll talk about the A.J. Brown stuff real fast. He was on that Streamers Live talking about how, other than the White doing good, everything else sucks and that everything's a shit show, is what he said. And he later said in his interview today at his locker that he just wants to get the ball and just plays like he wants to win, but he just wants to get the ball, blah, 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 blah. This happens every year, at least twice a year. And honestly, it's going to be funny if we win the Super Bowl, we go back looking at this again, just another fork in the road. But all I'm saying is I would put the over on every A.J. Brown prop there is on sports betting books. I feel like every time this happens, he just gets an explosion game. It happened last year when we played the Panthers, and it was a really weird, bad game. We won, but whatever. We played the Steelers after all the backlash, the debates with A.J. Brown, and he had a great game against them. I think we're going to find a way to get the ball to him. Lions play like the 4th most man coverage in all of football, so I think he's going to have a good game. I don't really care to even elaborate any more on this stuff. It happens every year. This team is still a wagon. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC, the number 1 seed right now, and they're the reigning champs. So if this is what needs to happen in order to just keep going through on the regular season, whatever. I used to get a lot more mad at AJ before, but I just feel like eventually everything's going to work out again. We're going to be looking back at this like, who cares? Oh, well. Yeah, Jalen Hurts stat line this one, 15 to 26 completions, 183 yards, 1 touchdown. Saquon Barkley, not too much here, 22 carries for 60 yards. Leading receiver was Devontae Smith, in large part due to that big-time head-top catch he made. 4 receptions for 69 yards and the touchdown. After that, Dallas Goedert was 4 receptions for 43 yards. A.J. Brown just 3 targets in this game, 2 receptions for 13 yards. And that's all the notes I had offensively for the Eagles. Sacks, Nakobe Dean had a big sack. Jalix Hunt had a big sack. He's looked great. Nolan Smith had a sack in his return. So some good stuff there. But, yeah, I think that's all I got, guys. Just a really weird football game. A really, really weird football game. But, again, Eagles are 7-2. They hold the number 1 seed in the NFC. They have a big one Sunday night against Detroit at home. And I will have a preview out either Friday or Saturday. So I'll talk to you guys then. And for now, go Birds.